If someone is under very heavy sedation or even in a coma, can they hear you when you speak to them? I'd like to talk about this questions because it's very close and personal to me. Just recently, actually last week, one of my brothers ended up going to the hospital for a procedure, and as a result of it, he went unconscious, and he's kind of in and out of a coma, and they have to keep him sedated to be able to heal him. So there was some very serious things going on. And a few days ago, we had a family meeting where his wife and children and the rest of my family were there so they can give us an update. And a couple times in the conversation, I heard questions by his son and by his wife and even a couple others asking, "Can he hear me when I talk to him?" The son said, "I went up and I put my hand on him and told him I loved him. And as I was talking, he says, I think I might have saw his toe twitch. I'm not sure. But I'm wondering, could he hear me? Does he know what I'm saying?" Now, the problem is, I understand this. I run into this a lot. I've heard these questions so many times, and you try to help people, but unless you understand these things that we teach, metaphysics and the mind and the brainwave states, I can go ahead and tell you what he's hearing or not hearing, but you might not understand. You might not even believe me because of your background, because of what you've been taught, maybe your religious beliefs. But I'd like to try to explain it here in this video for those of you that do understand these things, to help you to understand what's going on when people are in these levels. One of my favorite things to speak about is the brainwave states. Okay, I'm going to try to make this simple instead of getting into the hertz and the cycles per seconds. I'm going to talk to you about 5 of the basic brainwave states. There's a lot more, but right now you're in beta. This is your waking state. This is your conscious state. So when you're conscious, okay, everything is busy and you have difficulty healing because you're working so much. So when you're busy and you're stressed and all these things are going on, stress immediately shuts down your immune system. So you're in the fight or flight, I guess you could say, stage. And when you're in fight or flight, your immune system is shut down, so you can't heal. So you're only probably in a healing situation, maybe 20% of your day. And that's when you're not stressed and you can open up the immune system. But just being not stressed does not mean you're in a healing state. You have to do something. It's an activity such as relaxing or meditation or listening to good music. You have to calm down to eliminate stress, but to open up the immune system. But the good thing, as soon as you relax, okay, close your eyes. When closing your eyes alone and taking a deep breath blocks out about 80% of this beta activity, which means it brings you 80% into the alpha brainwave state. This is a relaxing state. This is where you are when you go to lie down to go to bed. You're just lying down or kicking back in the recliner, or playing with your children, watching television, if it's a calm movie, listening to music. Okay, this is the alpha state. Alpha, you're beginning to release stress, so your immune system is opening up a bit more. Now, we're getting close to what I'm talking about with my brother. They've been trying to keep him unconscious under sedation. So when they see him starting to open his eyes, when he was able to open them, or when he started to come to, they would they would sedate him to bring him back into theta and deeper. Now, just to show you how deep theta is, when you're sitting down, maybe in class, and you start to daydream because it's too boring, when you daydream and you don't remember, that's key, don't remember your daydreams, you're in theta. When you daydream and do remember your daydreams, or you realize, hey, I was in here 10 minutes, you were in alpha. But these people that daydream and they open their eyes, oh, I was only had my eyes closed for 5 minutes, but it was like half an hour. They were in theta, because when you cross that alpha and theta line, you go through a sense of, or a stage of amnesia. and timelessness. You lose time. This is why even when you have a deep dream at nighttime and you open your eyes and you can't remember your dream and you thought you were only asleep for maybe 20 minutes and it was like 4 hours. We see that with hypnosis sessions a lot. When I take somebody deeper into theta, they'll open their eyes and say, hey, that was only 5 minutes. What happened? And I showed them the watch and say, hey, you were in hypnosis 45 minutes. That means 5 minutes into the session, they crossed over into theta, into timelessness, into amnesia, which is why they didn't remember when they come back. Theta is also your dream state. So in theta, there is no stress. Oh, no stress, meaning your immune system is opened up and you're starting to heal. So in theta, it's no stress, it's healing, and it's the dream state. Now, that's when they give you the sedation, you go under, that's the beginning of it. But when you get a little deeper, you go into the delta brainwave state. Your brainwaves have really slowed down to about 4 to 5 cycles per second, okay? Oops, I said I wasn't going to get into that technical stuff, sorry. So when you're into delta, just so you know, that is your dreamless state. There are no dreams in delta. They call that the RAS, reticular activating system, where you don't dream, where you have that dead weight. You ever tried to pick up your child when they were, in a deep, deep sleep, and they just boom, they were like a wet dish rag, and they seem so heavy? That's delta. So in delta, your body actually heals a lot faster. The immune system is open. It heals a minimum of 3 times faster. How much faster? Well, it all depends on your system, your belief, your desire. Can it be 30%, 50% more? Of course it can be. So it's according to you, your system, your mindset. So in delta, there are no dreams. Your immune system's wide open. You heal excessively faster. But there is also that you're past the amnesia state and the timelessness. So here's what happens. The conscious mind, okay, can only do so much at once. I could say 1,000 things to you, and when you open your eyes, you might remember 10 or 15. It only remembers maybe 10%, 12% of what it takes in. This is why everybody has a different perception of thing in life, because even though they all hear the same things, you take in only a portion of what you're hearing. You associate it with your past memories and your experiences, and that's what you accept, and you make your decisions on that. So everyone hears the same information, but they all take a different stance on it. You see how the mind's working? That's the conscious mind. But the subconscious mind, the inner mind, hears everything all the time. It's like an open recording. So when he is in a coma, when he's in that delta brainwave state or deeper, because the next stage, the epsilon stage, is the actual coma state. But when they're in that state, can they hear you? Yes. They can hear you. They can feel you. They're in the universal consciousness. I keep on doing those air quotes, right? I got to stop doing that. I don't like seeing other people doing it. So they're in the universal consciousness. They're aware of everything. It's almost like they're everywhere, because universal consciousness connects to everything. So can my brother hear me if I'm in the room talking to him? And can he feel this? Yes. Can he hear me right now as I'm talking and he's sitting there in that state right now? Yes. He knows it because he's part of everything. It's a universal consciousness. His consciousness, my consciousness, his son, his wife. It's a universal consciousness. So do you have to be right there? I need to go there and say goodbye and all that. You can say goodbye right now. I can say whatever. I could say heal. I could say you're doing great. And that's the basis of spiritual healing. Even Reiki is to do the healing or the well-wishing or imagining them as a healed person now, wherever you are. I've healed people in different countries. When Raluca and I were in Romania, I actually did healing and helped people who were really bad off here in the United States, because people called me and said, could you help? Okay. So that's that universal consciousness. There is no time, no space, whether you're there or whether you're here. They hear everything. Now, here's the problem. When my brother comes out of the coma and he comes back and I say, "Hey, do you remember me coming over and touching you on the hand and saying this and that?" He knew it was happening, but he's going to say no. So people automatically, he didn't hear me. Oh, it didn't work. I don't know why I said all that. No, 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 no. Remember, he was beyond theta. He was in timelessness. So he heard it, he understood it, he knew it, he experienced everything. The recording took it in, so it's there. But when he came back down through theta to alpha, he began to forget, just like you forget the dream. You have a deep dream and you wake up and you want to tell your spouse and you go, oh gosh, I don't remember any of it. Isn't that amazing? So he knows you're there. Yes. He can hear you. He can feel you. He can all that thing. But when he comes back, he most likely, in most cases that I've seen, won't remember. However, the fun thing is when he goes to sleep that night, and he crosses over from alpha to theta and delta, he'll know it then. Isn't that interesting? You know, there's another state that people go through. Okay, you've ever heard of PTSD? Someone in the military experienced PTSD from a traumatic event. Something happened. Maybe they were being attacked, and all this stuff happened. And the subconscious mind dealt with it by hiding it. It hid it in the theta brainwave state, and that's usually what happens with PTSD. It's hidden by the subconscious mind, which is childlike, someplace where you won't remember. So when the soldier is functioning normally in his beta and alpha state, he doesn't remember it. He's fine. But as soon as they start to relax and cross over into theta, it comes back. You see what I mean? And they have their episodes. They go through, the PTSD again because they remember everything. And you'll see that a lot. This is why hypnotherapy is used to recover traumatic events by qualified hypnotherapists who have, medical or mental health degrees. So they can actually reopen traumatic events, even though you don't remember it all consciously. You don't remember anything. With hypnosis, you can go back and recover it because you're going back to the source, to theta or delta or wherever you need to take the client. So think of that. When you say, does this person in the coma hear me? Yes, they do. But don't expect them to come back and say, hey, about what you said, I know you confessed that you stole my record album and you put it back or whatever. They're not going to remember that. But don't tell them that just in case, because when they go back, they might. So I hope that helped to understand what's going on in the mind. It's always recording all the time. So if you need to say something important, say your goodbyes, tell them you love them, go ahead and do it in person or even wherever you are. It's never too late because the universal consciousness is universal. It's connected to everything. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you had fun and enjoyed this video, do us a favor and like, comment, subscribe, share, all those buttons that really help us out. And I'd like to give special thanks to our viewers and patrons who make this all possible. I couldn't do it all without you, and every episode is dedicated to you. Now, if you'd like to support our channel and learn more about hypnosis, I'd like to invite you to join us on Patreon. We have 4 levels of membership, starting with a free level, our $3 coffee level, $10, and our jackpot full member level of only $25 a month, where you can get over $2,000 worth of products and benefits. You really need to check that one out. Also, visit our online store for our hypnosis certification home study course if you'd like to learn hypnosis or become a hypnotist. And we also have 50 specialty courses there, like forensic hypnosis, memory retention hypnosis, covert hypnosis, past life regression, and many more. We also have the largest selection of hypnosis script manuals you'll find anywhere. And finally, if you'd like to just learn hypnosis for free, go ahead and download our 446-page hypnosis training manual right now in the description below this video. Again, I'd like to thank you for joining us today. I wish you the very best of success, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye now.